take a stand and be our hero.
Hey, what's good? Episode 11. We in there. Once again, I'm not sure if you can. Hey, Ariola. If you can see or hear the music, but if you can, Joey Badass for my people. It's one of the things I've been grinding out to at the moment. I'm so excited for our guests. We're gonna wait a couple minutes so a couple more people join. But yeah, it's been a good day. What's up? What's up? Coffee God and me, Home Skillet, one of the original followers of the Latte Live show. If you are new, welcome. My name is Jay, aka Jay Glock, and this is Latte Live. See the problem when the mic is in my palm. When I storm across the room, hit the stage and perform. What is born? Don't be alone. Don't let me have to send a horn and drop a bomb. Wanna get my mama crib with it long. Hey, we're gonna wait a couple minutes for a couple more people to join in. I know for your people, Adiola, it is what? You said midnight, right? So wake up, y'all in Ireland, come through. Let me try and turn on this music so I can hear y'all. Can y'all hear this music? Can you let me know if you can hear it? Oh, you can hear it. Oh, okay. You literally learn something new every day. That is one of the songs that has been keeping me going through this madness that is COVID-19 and having melanin and navigating, multi crises at the same time. So, it was loud. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to blow your ears out. Let me bring Homegirl on. It is a great song. That's what I'm saying. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So if you are new, Lock Bay Live is a talk show that I started just over 3 months ago. Started in April 18th. You do the math. Math is difficult. And the whole purpose of the show is to spotlight lock queens from all around the world. To talk about their journeys, to talk about, their lock tips and tricks, things that they've learned about themselves throughout their lock journey. And more recently, we've been talking about people's businesses, and not only their businesses, but their personal interests. I think that one of the things that is so important is that we utilize every method that we can to uplift and support one another. And so I know that our replay game is strong. So if you're joining us for the replay, thank you for coming through. I so appreciate the messages that y'all send when you're watching the replay, and at certain points, you agree with a point or something and you send a message. Keep doing that. That's super dope. Really, really grateful for all of the support so far. So let's bring Homegirl in. We're not going to keep her too long because it is after midnight. And let's see how it goes. Doom, 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 doom. It says connecting, and we're here. Hello, look at this melanin here for it. I can. It's still a little dark if there's a light, but I realize that it's also midnight, and you may have people in your household for whom the light is not helpful.
Yes, but I can try and put more brightness. There we are.
Oh, so much better. Yes. The more melanin, the better. Hi. Thank you for coming on in the middle of the night. I so appreciate you.
No problem. I'm usually up pretty late anyway. So.
Oh, yeah. Night owl?
Sorry?
Are you a night owl?
Yeah, well, night owl, early morning. Up until about 3 a.m. usually.
Really? And then when does it all start over again?
It starts over around 11 a.m.
Okay, so that's well, that's it's not like you're waking up at 6 a.m. after going to bed at 3.
No.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I won't keep you too long because I know it's late.
We can stay as long as you like.
Thank you. For everyone who's watching, I came across, is it Adiola?
Yeah, you can go by Adiola.
Profile and was immediately struck by not only her locks. What's good, Shills 94, where you're checking in from. Not only her locks, but just her whole vibe. She is a part of a group that is educating women about their menstrual cycles, or I should just say individuals who experience menstruation And has just been up to a lot of dope things. So I see people are joining us now. Alu, what's good? Happy you both are here. Welcome to Lock Bay Live. If it's your first time, I'm Jay. I basically just slide into folks' DMs, ask them if they want to be on my show to talk about their hair. I am now 16 months locked on July. I've lost July 10th, I believe, is when I started almost 16 months ago. And so I've just been enthralled by different individuals' journeys, what they're learning about themselves. I think one of the things that I completely did not anticipate was having all of this knowledge about myself in addition to transitioning with my locks. So Adiola, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, yes, yes. So tell us a little bit about your lock story. Like what is it that inspired you to start your locks, and how did you start? Give us the whole 9 yards.
Okay. So first of all, I believe this is my second set.
Oh, okay, great. So you are
Well, I think the first time round, I'll start by talking about the first time. So I used to be a practicing Muslim, so I used to cover, I was wearing hijab and all that. So that set of locks was most of the time covered up, and I actually just started that one with two strand twists, and came out of, so like I'm only recently starting to learn about the different hair types, and I think my hair is 4A.
Okay.
And I never really knew like what to do with it most of the time. And then because I was constantly covering my hair up and then having to wash my hair or wet it, it was kind of just a convenient choice was to try and go for locks. So I went ahead and put them in twists and then just left them in twists. Now, I've always been the kind of person who I don't really do too much of maintenance, and I don't like touching my hair too much or anything really. I kind of leave things as they are, or as they want to be, should I say. So those ones, they ended up joining, but because of all of the pressure on it, it was joining up in a very flat way. And because I wasn't doing like separating and retwisting and all that stuff, it all just kind of became a bit difficult, just looking at it. And then my ex at the time, he really didn't like the look of the locks. So long and short, I was in Qatar at the time. So that's in Doha. At that time I was teaching English there.
What an amazing country. I would like to go back. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that so
I
much.
was there for a couple of months teaching, which was a really good experience for me as well. And one night, I don't know exactly what came over me. I think I saw a post of someone who said that they wanted to comb out their locks, and I was having a feeling. I was like, how am I going to comb this out? It's all, it's matted up now. It can't really, how am I going to get it back to how it was? I spent about 2 weeks with a fork,
What?
and yeah, just kind of picking at it, and bit by bit, bit by bit. I'm not someone who sits and does something constantly for an extended period of time, so I'd be starting, put some conditioner in, go away, a few days, come back and do another set, do a couple more, and then my hair was back, and it was really, really tired, I would say. It really felt tired. So I left my hair out for a few months, and then I would do the twists. Maybe I would, get a blow dry in the hairdresser once or twice only, to try and see how it looks straight.
Yeah.
Color it a little bit as well, And I still felt like, this isn't really, it doesn't really work, and I found myself in Nigeria then. And we're talking about 3 years back, getting to the story of the second one.
Listen, I
And
see. So you just take your time. We ain't going nowhere.
yeah. And I was there and I was like, you know what? Where better to get locks installed than where people actually know what to do with the hair, because
True.
I live in Ireland, and we probably have, where I live, I can't talk about the whole of Ireland, there's like one street where there are hairdressers
Oh.
who do black hair, but every time I've walked past them, like, it doesn't really, I don't know them, you know, I don't really like people touching my hair. Since I think it happened when I was 11. I went to the hairdresser. I had really long hair, and they just basically cut it up and removed split ends. And at the time, I didn't really understand. I just knew that I didn't want anyone touching my hair again.
Mm.
So going to a hairdresser, it was like, I don't know about that. But yeah, I got someone to come to where I was staying at the time to come and install locks. And I didn't know what that meant really, because I've always been attracted to the freeform, semi-freeform thing. So they came and spent a couple of hours. I don't know what they were doing in my hair, and then said, "Oh, we'd like to pack it up, pack it up in a nice style for you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, go ahead." It was super tight. It was
Uh,
really, really painful. And a couple of days later, I had all these bumps around, because it was that tight. And I was like having a headache. I said, "No, these need to come out." I took out the hairstyle that they put my hair in, and then I noticed that whatever they done to install locks, there was nothing installed. There was actually just these knots at the very beginning of my roots, and then kind of just palm rolled my hair. And at that point, I hadn't actually washed my hair because they told me not to. And I'm someone, I sweat a lot, and it always starts from my head.
yeah.
So at this point, I was like, I need to wash my hair. And what did they actually do that they've collected this money? Now, there are people who do it properly, but I didn't really do research. I just kind of went with any random person. Um,
Do your
sorry?
I said lesson number one, do your research for all
Yeah,
those.
do your research. I went for any random person after going so many years without letting
Mm.
anyone touch my hair, and then suddenly I'm like, okay, random person, come and install locks in my house for me. I I wasn't happy. I washed my hair, and I saw, okay, my curls are back, and whatever they put in it had been washed out. And I was determined that I do want my locks again, but I
Mm.
don't really want to do this thing of having installed or whatever. And as I'm looking online in Facebook groups, some people are discussing. There was a guy who said your hair locks naturally if you leave it alone. Um, and I understood that, but like for some reason that particular day it made a lot more sense that if you just leave your hair alone, it's going to lock,
Yep.
because it's the most, his opinion is, it's the most natural form your hair can be. You can have natural hair, but so long as you're combing it, you're still manipulating. So if you
Mhm.
just leave it alone, it's going to lock. And I was feeling my hair, like, I know my hair gets tangled very easily. And the more I wash my hair, it definitely does. Like my curls, they were kind of, you could see the curls separating themselves, like
Mm.
into chunks. So that's what I ended up doing. Every few days after I wash my hair, I do like this hand motion. I don't know what exactly that was, but I just go, let me turn on the light 1 second, because I'm going to turn on the second light so you can see.
Hi everyone. If you are just joining us, this is live episode 11 featuring Adiola all the way from Ireland. Homegirl stayed up till midnight just to be on the show. Super excited that she's here. She's right now just joining us. She's catching us up about how she got her locks, and it's been a very, very long process. She had a set, she cut it, she went to try
I
and
didn't cut. I took it out with
sorry, she combed it out
a
over
fork.
5. Let me not minimize Sis's labor. 5 days, combed it out, her first set of locks, and then she had what she believed to be a professional install locks in her hair, and they jacked it up. So now we're at the part in the story where she's talking about how she ended up cultivating the locks that she has on her head right now.
Yeah. So I'd wash my hair, put my oils and everything, and I'd just do this motion.
Mm.
And I found when I did that motion, my curls separated even more. So you know how you have the curls going on, then they join, and then
Yep.
you see a big kind
Yep.
of. So I would do that anytime I'd wash my hair for ages, and I'd see, okay, it's just kind of like the, those guys who use those sponge method on their hair
Yep.
or a towel, kind of similar, only my hair was already kind of at this length. I didn't start from really short. It was kind of like at that length anyway. And I just went round and round and washed my hair. And I liked the freedom of just, you know what, wash my hair whenever I like. I don't know if my hair is going to turn out how other people's hair looks, but I want to see what my hair is going to do if I just continue doing this, kind of like an experiment. It
Right.
did look, when people talk about the messy phase, I'm constantly in it, and I just accept it. I'm like, I like being in the messy phase, and
Yeah.
I kind of went from covering to uncovering by that point. I was at my sister's house, and the particular day that I just decided I'm not wearing hijab anymore, I said, I don't feel like wearing it. And she said, so don't. And I said, you know what? It's that simple. We have choice, right? That's what we're always told. So I'm just not going to. And I went out and I could feel the wind on my neck, and it felt so nice. And I'd missed that. I really did. And I'm walking and people aren't looking at me the way they usually look. It's like, oh, this is interesting. And then later on in the day, someone then commented about my hair. I said, okay, so it's a kind of different look. Now the look is about my hair. So be it, at least it's something, it's actually from me, and it's an extension of myself, however it's going to appear. So by that point, it started doing like these fuzzy curls with little, would we call it budding, as all these terms that people use. I don't have a clue for what most of them mean. I'm just like, I really just don't do that much. So a few months pass, and I'm like, okay, I actually have locks. My hair has separated. So these parts, they are not. Now I've kind of got all of my locks into threes. Okay, only because I'm doing a lot of work recently, and it's a lot. So I've now just put them into threes. I think I have about, would we say, about 83 locks in total on my head. But then that's always changing because some of them join. And when I've seen them join, let me see if I find my baby.
Hello, baby.
Yeah. So when they started doing that, I just leave it. So I have loads on my head have decided to marry each other, and I'm like, go ahead and marry. You know?
I just so appreciate, first of all, this is a beautiful story.
Thanks.
I really think if you haven't yet considered writing this down, it's a really good story because, at so many different parts of your story, you were navigating, like, what does it mean to be comfortable in my skin? What does it mean to have the control over my body that makes me feel most at home?
Yeah.
And what do I need to do and change, and who do I need to become in order to step into that person?
Exactly.
And I think that, like, it's so emblematic of the journey that I think many, many, many women and many people, but women specifically, are going through across the United States and around the world. One of the reasons I get excited about international guests like you is because I think in the US sometimes we believe that what we're experiencing as Black women, as African women, as individuals who are of the diaspora is just happening to us in the United States. And
it's not happening everywhere.
Yes, and so to have someone like you come and explain your story, which is unique to you, but also a microcosm of what everyone else is experiencing, to me, it just makes it more of a community, a global community, right? And I am so encouraged by your ability to say, like, that didn't work for me. This works for me. Yeah, I'm gonna go in that direction.
Yeah, I just
And
follow. And I was telling my cousin, one of my cousins, see, in Nigeria, in our culture, we like order. When it comes to like appearance,
mm,
most Nigerians, they like a really neat and polished look, you know, presentable, try to look presentable. They associate a lot of negative things with locks, you know. Um,
mm,
there's a lot of negative ideas around it. And not just that, when your locks are what they would call unkempt, or messy, or see, I have really large sideburns as well. I'm really hairy, right?
mm,
And constant thing is, why wouldn't you shave it? Shave it off, you
mm,
know, you'll be more feminine if you shave your sideburns, trim it back a little bit, tidy your hair. What are you going to do with your hair? When are you going to do your hair? When are you going to book an appointment in the salon? You know, it's a constant thing.
mm,
And I'm like, when I covered, you had just as much to say. Now I'm not covering. Now you want to tell me how to do my hair and what to do with it. And, you know, I'm just doing what I feel comfortable doing. And
mm.
I found, and I told my cousin this, I said, my hair has taught me a lot. One thing, patience, a lot of patience. Number two, not just patience, but acceptance. When you decide to go free form or semi free form, it's letting go of control,
Yep.
you know, not just letting go of control, but letting go of other people's opinions. Because if you are free form or semi free form, anyone can tell you it's a constant lecture. You know, everyone has an opinion on what you're supposed to do, or a suggestion, which you're not asking for, or an assumption. You must definitely, like, for example, here in Ireland, don't see many people, first of all, looking like me, black women around, you know. Then you do find people who have locks but are not black, right? And they are seen as hippie, ethnic, kind of boho thing. I can say a lot on that, but I'm not today. And then for me now, you definitely know someone who sells weed, or you're really dirty, because a lot of those who are white and have locks, because their hair type is quite different, they can't be washing their hair all the time. So
Mm,
a lot of them actually will tell you that they haven't washed their hair in quite a long time, you know. Whereas me, I'm washing my hair every single week, at most 2 weeks if I'm
mm,
really lazy.
mhm.
Anytime I do a physically intensive thing, I'm going to have a shower and probably wash my hair, because I know my hair, I don't know about other people, but for me, whenever I get sweaty, it starts right here and
Mhm.
then it goes to my nose and my cheeks, you know, and then everywhere else just starts perspirating as well. So this thing of you definitely, like, your hair, it looks like it smells, you know.
Mm,
Or do you know someone who sells weed? Can I get weed from you? Or um, just other things. Then going to my own country, Nigeria, and having just as much negative things about my hair in a country surrounded by black people. It's like in both places you have people who just have this negative assumptions about locks. So I just had to decide, no matter what people say, at the end of the day, my body, I'm
period.
going to do whatever I want, you know. 100 people can say they don't like it. At the end of the day, I like it. Are you paying my bills? You know, are you going to contribute? As far as I know, I'm doing everything pretty much by myself. So please do not give me advice on what to do with my hair when you're not going to be there paying the hairdresser who's going to do whatever it is that you want them to do to me just for me to be uncomfortable later. You know, I don't like labor. I don't want to do a lot. I like how it's looking. I like when it's wild. I like that some of them are marrying, some of them are having babies. You see these little mini ones popping out in different places. One of them is hidden in this lock here. This is actually 3, but I can actually, it pops out in almost any fucking selfie I try to take, and I want to look tidy. And these 2 little locks, they just do this thing of,
they just stick out straight.
they stick straight out, you know, and I said they don't want to stay in. These ones, they don't want to stay in, you know, and I'm like, see, look, it's doing it now. And that's why sometimes I just braid it. But yeah, so after a few months, I had the locks, and I just kept on doing what I was doing is, I love the comments. They do want their own selfie.
Love y'all.
Just wash my hair, let it dry. I did get a hair dryer at some point because we barely get any sun here. So if I know that I need to go out and it's really cold, I might put the blow dryer just to dry, you know, get some of the water out. Put my oils, condition once in a while, and that's it. Leave it alone. People always ask, you know, because I'm sure you've seen my pictures. Sometimes it's like out. And people say, how do you get your hair to grow so fast? What do you do? I leave it alone. I leave it. 4 months I can go, and I'm not going to. And when we talk about retwist, you know, I did a retwist myself a few days ago, and that's why it's in the 3s. It wasn't a retwist. I don't do tight. Nothing is tight in my hair. I literally just do that.
I've been doing that too.
Just that.
No, honestly, like one of the things that people DM me a lot about is like how to get thicker locks, and everything you're saying is the truth. Just leave your hair alone. Don't retwist super often. Don't try to pull your hair mad tight. Hey Gemini Fly, don't try to, you know, do all this kind of extraness to it if you want thicker locks, because at the end of the day, it's like you're taking the clearest explanation I have ever heard that I always remember is you got to think about your locks like a twig, you know, and if you consistently twist a twig, what's gonna happen? It's gonna get super thin, and then it's gonna snap. So
and pay attention.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of people, they, you know, like I said, I'm kind of new to the whole terminology that people use, and I joined quite a few Facebook groups of people with locks, and you see a lot of this thing where people, they want to copy other people and what other people are doing, or compare their locks to how others looks, and want to get exactly how that person has. It's not going to happen.
Nope.
You're 2 different people, 2 different lifestyles. You eat different foods. You think different stuff. The energy around you is different. The energy you're putting out is different. They're not going to look the same no matter what. Even if you follow the steps, step by step, A to Z, it's not going to happen. It might get close, but it's not going to happen. So if you pay attention, you see your hair doesn't like a certain thing, stop it. Try something else, you know. I have changed washing my hair, what I use, about 6 or 7 times. You know, sorry?
What are you using now?
So now I use Dudu Osun, so African black soap from my country, Nigeria. I kind of just dilute it, and that's enough. I've gone months of deciding, okay, I'm not going to use shampoo. I'm going to go ahead and just use water, and that's it. And for some people, it's worked great. For me, I found it wasn't working. Like, I constantly had an itchy scalp. And overall, like, I started to not like how my locks were smelling. You know, I like the smell of clean, and it wasn't really, it was smelling kind of spicy, you know, so. Sorry?
Yeah, you said spicy. She said
it was smelling spicy. And, you know, I was like, everyone else tells me, oh, you smell great. I say, well, I don't smell that great. I smell spice. I smell something else, you know. So now I love the smell of Dudu Osun. I have been experimenting, trying to make my own soap, but that's a bit complicated, more complicated than I thought it would be. Um, and so that's what I use, Dudu Osun, and to oil my hair after I'm done, first of all, I do use orange blossom water. I know people like rose water. I hate the smell of rose water. I can't.
Never heard of orange blossom water.
Yeah, you can use
Oh,
orange blossom water.
okay. Let me write that.
Yeah, I like the smell of orange blossom water. I even like the taste in food, like pastries. You know, if you add a few shots of orange blossom water into your pastry and your cakes, it has a really nice fragrant taste going on, a nice aroma. So I like orange blossom water far more than rose water. I hate rose water. It stinks. For me, I just can't. It reminds me of Turkish delight, and I'm not a fan. So no. After the orange blossom water, I've changed the oils I've used in my hair constantly as well, and I just watch what does it like, what is it reacting to. And so for the longest time, I wasn't even using oils. It would be just on my the front of my hair and the back, and the parts where people actually see. I might put some shea butter, and then when I would do my retwist, then it would be shea butter and honey mixed together, and that kind of worked because it's always just a little finger twist, so it's not going to stay in place long anyway. But that was nice. Now I kind of do a mix of, so I have a little container. I have melted coconut oil in with shea butter, carrot oil, vitamin E oil, and black seed oil. And I kind of just melted it all together, and it made like this really nice butter, I guess. And so when my hair is a bit damp, I don't really apply anything to my locks themselves, really. I always just go for my actual scalp, and I kind of just rub it in there, rub, 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 and that's it. Any excess, I kind of just rub off. Anytime I wash my hands, I dry off on my
In your
hair just to keep it moisturized. Add the water. And you
I
see
love it.
people using those spray bottles with water.
Uh-huh.
Nah, I just wash my hands, dry,
Dry it on your hair. Yo, I just so appreciate your approach to life. Like, can I just tell you, first of all, the comments, the people love you. Like, we gotta have you back. Between accent and the just self-determination that you have displayed, and the agency is really what it is. Like, the agency, the ability to say, this is what I want and this is what I'm gonna do, and it doesn't matter what you have to say about it, because like I'm feeling good. There's so many people around the world that need that, to hear that.
That's how I live my life in general. If it's not working for me, I'll drop it.
Period. Like, there's just so many one-liners. I need to figure out. Instagram, please teach me how I save these videos to my camera, because y'all like to keep them on Instagram and then I don't have the footage. Help me. Help me.
Yeah,
Because
like
it's wow.
there was another guy who said, freeform is freedom, but it's also a way of life. It's about everything, not just your hair. It doesn't just stop there. It's everything. And for me, I'm like, the same way I leave my hair to just be, I like to just be as much as I can, whatever that feels like on the day. It is what it is. Things happen, and temporary disturbances, but at the end of the day, they just pass, and I grow. And your hair contains history as well. Every holiday you go on, your health status, if you've been sick, it actually goes in your hair too. If you've been in the sun, it shows in your hair. What you're eating, it shows in your hair. Emotions, it shows in your hair. It's just another part. So for me, I see before I open my mouth, people see it and whatever, they come up with whatever assumptions. And then I talk and we see what assumptions they still have. And sometimes they have assumptions that I just don't have the energy to try and correct. So I'm just like, you know what?
Keep going. Yeah.
Not my
No,
job to
that's
constantly. Nah.
that's that's a process too, I think. And I think a lot of Black women are getting to that point, particularly with how the world is unfolding at this moment, where everyone is now seems to be seeking to understand us, and we just don't have the energy to be teaching people because our goal is to survive. And so,
No,
100% on board with you.
don't don't ever feel. I know, like, people like to talk about manners, courtesy. Great, having good manners is fantastic when it's necessary in the time, but don't ever feel like you actually owe anyone any sort of explanation, because you don't. At the end of the day, are they paying towards your bills? Are they contributing towards your life? Most of the time, no. So feel free, we can share opinions, we can discuss if I'm up to it. But if I decide mid conversation, you know what, I'm not really feeling this conversation, I don't want to continue, and you say, well, I'm trying to understand you, how do you expect me to learn? No, sorry, look, I don't have the energy to discuss this any further, so you're going to have to find someone else to do that, or just do it yourself, because I'm done. No, listen, I said I'm done with this
Yo,
conversation.
Adiola is not here for you. In short.
I don't care. I've been through so much, and I've found myself in situations where I literally only had to be nice because it mattered. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to stay where I was staying. Now I'm in a situation where nobody can drag me out of where I am. And it's mostly because of what I've done for myself. So now's not the time for people to demand explanations and free education and emotional energy for nothing. When most times they're just asking, you can tell by the questions, they're only asking because they want to look like they are concerned, but it's just performance. They are not concerned. You are not. It's just performance. If you are really concerned, you do the work yourself, you invest that time yourself, and you won't keep on demanding it from people who are tired and have been speaking about the same thing for how many years, and you've been ignoring. So right now I'm at that point where everyone is exhausted. People are on social media exhausted, and I'm like, social media for me is a positive space. I go on there with intentions. It's an intentional thing. Anything I do online, before I even open my app, I have an intention. And my intention is never to be exhausted. If I go on my feed.
No, pause. Nah, you got to pause right there.
Okay.
Because people are exhausted in these social media streets.
Yeah, because everyone's, a lot of people, and I get it, I get the passion, but some of us are doing too much to the people who don't really give a fuck. You can tell the question someone asked, how they ask you from the beginning, if they're asking to really educate themselves or if they're just trying to engage in a conversation just for the sake of talking.
It's true.
Most times we know, but we just, because we want to feel like we're doing the right thing and we want to be polite and we want to be nice, we be unkind to ourselves and put ourselves in these exhausting situations that we have no business in being in.
Wow.
Woo! I mean, that's just my opinion, though. People have their different ways.
Do you even realize, do the people who share space with you in your life, whether it's through the computer or on the phone, do they understand who they have? Because I just looked at the clock and it's 7:39 and I don't know where the last 39 minutes have gone because I have so focused on your voice and so focused on your ideas and your stance and your story that the time has just melted away. Like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surrounded, I'm very fortunate now as an adult.
One second, because I want to make sure we get to this question. IG now has, it's really cool to see how IG is like adapting to this new age of us communicating in this way. So
Yeah,
that these things, like the first couple episodes of the show, they just disappeared because that's what it was at that time. Like I didn't know how to record it. And so, you know, Gemini Fly's episode, Jada's episode, Alicia Ty's episode, and a couple other people, like it just disappeared. But now you can keep them, which is awesome because people can watch the replay. And
can I
now,
keep them too?
you know, I'm not sure. See what happens when the live ends. But either way, the video will be on the page, and I'll absolutely share it with you. Okay. So there's a question from Olu. Sometimes the locks turn brown. How do you manage such browning? My locks turn brown in the sun, I've realized.
Yeah, sun bleaches your hair.
Besides just covering your hair in the sun.
My hair was already, so when I started my locks, it was already colored like copper brown. So I found in the summer, when I travel to warmer countries where there's more sun, they do tend to look a little bit more bronze, I guess. But I don't manage. I don't manage anything. It is what it is, how it comes out.
Period.
That's just, I don't know how to answer.
And that's that on that. Any more questions, you all? Feel free to
Whilst questions are coming, what was I saying? I can't remember.
You were talking about setting intentions while on social media, not in conversations with people for whom the education is out there, and you do not need to be the facilitator of said education, and to not explain yourself unnecessarily.
Yeah, it's through, that's one thing I learned as a practicing Muslim, intentions. There were things I might not be practicing now, but there were things that I would do that, they always say the intention matters more than what you actually do, and not just, what's the reason for me cooking? The reason for me cooking is because I need to sustain myself. I need energy. So I'm cooking this meal because my body needs energy. Sometimes when I'm being unkind to myself, I'm going to eat loads of rubbish. But when I really want to treat myself and be good to myself, I am making the intention of being good to myself and treating myself. So what am I going to do? I'm going to choose food that not only tastes nice, but is actually beneficial. So going on social media, I know on my feed, I'm very fortunate because at this point in my life, I'm surrounded by a lot of good intended people. Maybe they might have bad intentions, but I'm not aware of it yet, And those who do, they drop off very quickly. They can't tolerate me. I'm irritating. I'm an irritant, and I like it. I like being irritating. If it means that my space is more peaceful, I'm going to be irritating, I don't mind. And I won't minimize myself to make people feel comfortable so I can be uncomfortable for the, however long they're going to be in my presence. So I see people around me and I'm like, you know what? I have a lot of positive people who are doing things, who are actually trying to do things with their lives and improve themselves constantly. And it's because that's what I am and it's what I put out. So naturally, that's what's coming in my direction. And I can always tell when people are not. And sometimes I allow it, but the important thing is I knew, and most of us know before we even do the thing, that thing is a waste of time. It's true. We still do it because we're trying to be nice. And I think it's time we start being kind, not nice. And kindness doesn't necessarily mean giving everyone what they want from us. But there I am.
Woo! So first of all, I am so grateful that you at one point in your life were an educator, because whoever sat under your teaching is better for it. I'm better for these last 44 minutes that I've spent. I think this is the episode I've said the least. Sometimes guests are a little nervous and, you have to kind of it's more of a conversation because answers are a bit shorter, which is fine. Everybody's different.
I'm nervous.
Well, listen, your nerves, I don't know. I have just thoroughly enjoy the way that you have just so naturally interwoven life lessons and wisdom and kindness and love through everything that you've said, from describing your journey to describing the mishaps to describing the culture. I'm a child of immigrants as well. Like, parents are from Liberia, and so this idea of what are you doing with your hair and why is your hair, I can identify with that. The irony, though, is a few days ago I sent my mom a picture of my hair, and she was like, your hair is pretty, like, I love it. And I'm thinking to myself, but mama, when I started, you was not a fan.
Exactly. Yeah. I've also had the comment from a few, oh, your hair has grown a lot. Mm-hmm. Said, oh, so is it only when it's long that it's acceptable?
That's a conversation you have to have as a community.
It's another thing. And I don't like people using negative words around my hair, to describe my hair. When they go on saying, oh, your hair looks messy, say, no, please, it's not messy, okay? It's free. Okay, don't be talking that everything carries a certain energy, and sometimes when people are saying those things, they have bad something inside. So sometimes you have to just correct them straight away so they can kill whatever that negative thing is straight away. So I feel it sometimes. I'm not a jealous person. I rarely feel jealous, and the moment I do, I instantly make a prayer for that person, because it's the fastest way for me to kill that bug. And I instantly drop it. Like, I've prayed, and I mean my prayer. I really want good for them, just like I want good for myself. So where's the jealousy? Do you know? Going back to the nervous thing, just a few days ago, I posted on my Facebook, I'm scared about opening my website. I'm going to answer this question here. And a friend actually commented and said, do it scared. Do it scared. Just do it, I said, yeah, that's true. Do it scared. So I'm going to do it anyway. What is my profession? What comments have your parents made regarding your professional status? Well, my profession, I'm self-employed, but I've had several jobs over the years. My parent doesn't really have much of a say on what my jobs are, because at the end of the day, I'm not asking them for money. I'm responsible, and I pay my bills, and I pay my rent, and I live a responsible life. So nobody's concerned about me. And you can tell they're not concerned because nobody calls my phone at ridiculous hours. I'm saying it, it might be a completely different reason, but I decide to put it in a positive in my head, is they're not concerned. That's why they're not reaching out. Sometimes you just have to. But yeah, they haven't really had much say. They'd like me to study more and possibly get another degree, and
Sounds about African parents.
Yeah, they don't really understand the nature of my business.
Business.
So my business, I actually sell reusable menstrual products, and I care a lot about the environment and all of the creatures we share it with. So I do activism as well, and just in general, having public conversations about things that people want to talk about relating to those topics, and then answering questions and providing solutions. So that's how to explain activism.
I am just so happy that you said yes to coming on the show. Like, I want you to know that you are a blessing. Like, I feel blessed by this conversation.
Thanks.
I'm blessed by everything that you've shared.
Me too.
Who's listening has felt just the love, care that you've expressed through all of your words, and just the idea that you can be unapologetic and still full of love, right? Like, I think that there's this thing that we're taught that says that you can't both be unapologetic and also be someone who is acting and moving in love.
Yeah.
Lie. It's not true. I think that
you see a lot of people are carrying a lot of hurt that they don't want to confront, and that's why.
Yeah.
you can be on, you know, you see a lot of people, it's a transition.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I know that I was unapologetic, but I was also quite nasty.
Mm.
And the nastiness wasn't even being kind to myself. It was just to be spiteful. I was just doing it just to be spiteful or petty, as people say. Yeah, petty. No. When I decided to start being intentional about things that I do, something shifted.
Mm.
What's the purpose of me deciding not to continue this conversation? It's not because this person is completely ignorant and stupid and won't understand. No, it's because I don't have the energy for it. And they are not asking because they actually want to know. And I think I need to there are other things that are required of me that require a lot more energy
Mm.
than burning myself out for an hour conversation with someone who's not going to give a fuck tomorrow. And then having that conversation and then carrying that annoyance for the whole day,
Yes.
continuing it for the whole week, and every other interaction that I have with people who don't even know what happened, and showing them a bad attitude and a bad face.
For what?
You know? Or because I wanted to make someone comfortable and give free education. No, no. I think it's different as well because here, being Black in Ireland, you really are a minority. You know, you stand out like a sore thumb.
Mm.
And anything you do, most times it's like a Black thing. Is that a Black thing? No, it's an Augustina thing. It's an Adeola thing. It's my thing. I do it because I want to. And it's got nothing to do with everyone else, you know? But for some people, you're literally the only Black person that they know, you know? Or they know online, but who they can call a friend, you're like the only one. So you're the reference point. I'm like, I'm not your reference point. I don't speak for everyone. I speak for myself and I have my own opinions based on my own understanding and experiences. But I don't speak for other people. It might be in line, people might agree, but at the end of the day, they have their own thoughts, you know? So please leave me out.
Well, thank you so much. We're coming up on an hour. I think this is, if it isn't our longest, it's probably one of our longest episodes. And I'm hearing that, you know, folks have just thoroughly enjoyed it. Any more questions that folks have that we can answer? Adiola can answer. We have to have you back.
I don't mind. I don't mind at all.
And you all, I don't know, some of you, you know, everyone has joined at different points, but it's past midnight in Ireland. So not only is this dropping gems, but it's also midnight plus. It's actually almost 1 a.m. where she is
Yeah.
dropping
But you
all
know,
the
I can
gems.
tell I'm having a good conversation. You know why? I don't feel tired. I
Oh,
don't feel exhausted. And in fact, I actually feel like, I've gained something from this as well,
oh,
So
wonderful, wonderful.
what about you? Like, are you exhausted?
No, I actually,
Good.
there's a lot happening in our city. I am born and raised in Philadelphia, but I live in Pittsburgh, and there's a lot happening. And so I was feeling pretty drained prior to this conversation and looking forward to this conversation because anytime I do a Lock Bay Live episode, I feel like almost like it shouldn't be illegal for me to have this much fun with strangers.
It's an
People have
interesting
never met,
concept, honestly.
you know, and so I feel inspired and encouraged and just motivated, like to be more intentional and to be more honest with myself. I think
And
one of the things, and we talked about last
go
time,
ahead.
like one of the things that I am really into these days is like stripping back to the basics. So if you go to my page, I'm not gonna be the Instagram girl that's all glammed up all the time. Like I want you to see me when I'm tore up from the floor up. Like I have had years and years and years of issues with my skin. I want you to see my hyperpigmentation. I want you to see my bags. I want you to see my wrinkles under my eyes that are from my mommy. Like, I'm in a spot where I'm craving things that are untouched, right?
Good.
Stuff that is
It's the
just
best way.
who it is and what it is. So
I mean, I have a fucking video of me eating mango with spices, and
yeah.
I'm just like,
Oh,
this is,
so I
you
feel
know,
to answer the question. I feel
in all areas, it's offline, online, friends, family, you know, I do have the core of who I am.
mm-hmm.
So even if I'm not there, if anyone wants to talk things about me, it's very easy for people to say, no, that's not, you can't be talking about her. Because I don't show a completely different person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm quite consistent in everywhere. Work, even, I might adjust, but the core parts of me are still there, you know? And it even shows in my business. On my business page, people are asking me, when's the site open? When's the site open? So that's at Live Our Values. I'll actually type it here.
Yeah.
And I did a video saying, listen, I only have 2 hands. You know, I'm one person with 2 hands. So when it's up, it's up. Some would say that's unprofessional. I would say, so be it. You know, those who are on the same understanding are going to come in my direction anyway. I trust it. You know, I'm tired of trying to please. You know, my whole childhood was full of walking on eggshells. And now I don't have to walk on eggshells. I just don't want to do it. So, yeah. Back to the hair. Like, it goes back to the hair. I don't want to do it. I want to leave it alone. And so it is.
What a full circle moment. I think it's a good place to start. Wow, 7:57. Yeah, this is officially the longest episode we've ever had. Much due to your vulnerable and open and unapologetically yourself. Like all of our Lock Bay Live guests, I always just feel privileged to be in your presence and to be able to bear witness to that kind of beauty that I feel like in this day and age is underappreciated, right? Like it feels as though everyone is trying to,
everyone's performing.
yeah, like trying to be something else, whatever the something else is, you know. I think on Instagram it materializes as, or it manifests as like over filtered photos or, you know, just pictures. And I've been on Instagram since 2013, so I've been through all the phases of,
wow,
you know, I'm taking a picture of a leaf, or I'm taking a picture of myself and there are 80,000 filters on it because I got a pimple and I don't want you to see it. Like, I just appreciate, you know, how unapologetic you are, and so happy that you do what you do.
Post that I put on my wall, right, on my Instagram. So I haven't been on Instagram that long. I still don't really understand how it all works, and I'm glad for it. One thing I do know is, if I'm scrolling through my feed and I see someone that constantly puts stuff that makes me feel uncomfortable, not in a positive, growing way, I just off, you know.
Wait, I have to pause you because apparently there's an hour limit, and now I have a timer that says 1 minute and 28 seconds remaining. This is good. We learn something new every day. So yeah. Because I am a fan of having control of things, we're going to end before Instagram ends us because we have an hour. But consider this part 1. I definitely want to come back
in the future.
To come back. So, you know, whether it's 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 2 months from now, like, please come back to the show. Let us know what's going on. And for all of you who are here, share this episode in your stories and talk about your experience. Share. Make sure people know about the show. And
we don't have to be strong all the time. Vulnerability is perfect. It's excellence. Okay, be vulnerable.
Word. I appreciate y'all. As always, episode 11, we are signing off. It's all love. Make sure you follow Adiola. Make sure you follow Live Your Values. Make sure you follow Live. And make sure you follow little old me, J Stick Locks, who's just a chick from West Philly who lives in Pittsburgh with
Who's
Liberian,
doing great things.
trying to make it work in the world. Thank you so, so much. Until next time, y'all. Peace.
Bye. Love you all.
Love, love, love.